What are the major themes of this program today? One is the concept of funnel. The second is, do sales figures reflect the truth? Some of you might be really wondering why am I saying so. Actually, all of us work on numbers. Your sales manager go on pestering you on numbers all the time. So we'll be looking at numbers in a different perspective. So other is prioritize the different types of sales calls, and the last is managing the paradox. Look at the trees and also the woods. The concept of funnel now. First of all, can anybody tell me why funnel is becoming very crucial in today's world? Any of you would like to have an audio control? Many of you seniors might be aware of this, but why is it become so crucial? Why is it becoming so crucial? Anybody? Anybody? Yes, one is competition, yes. But one of the most important thing what is happening is, apart from competition, many of you must be projecting your order bookings for every month, and quite often those orders do not happen. Some of my clients are here also, like for example with Manjushri, we have been discussing for the last 1.5 years. Okay, we get a projection that yes, Manjushri wants to decide on order, but it doesn't happen. So in a similar manner, many of you, when you project and the projections do not happen, and that is the time you start wondering how you can solve that. Sales funnel is a tool which can help you understand the gap between the projections and the reality, and how that gap can be reduced. You're right, Shivakumar. So funnel as a concept is as you know, it is used for dispensing kerosene, petrol in your fuel tanks and all that stuff. How this is used for sales, let us look at it. Sales funnel as a metaphor. Metaphor is over here. If you look at, these are the cases that where you go on projecting, you make cold calls, but all the cases that you project, actually you do not get it over here. So there is a wide gap between the efforts that you put. There is a wide gap between the efforts that you put and the results that you get. Would you agree with it or not? And that's why this gap between efforts and results can be connected with a metaphor called a sales funnel. And why does this gap? Because the sales leads drop at all the time. There are companies may have the budget. They say, yes, we would like to finalize this order. They have the budget, but they may not have the need or a low priority. Correct, you are right. They are not able to. Okay, so companies may have budget but no need or a low priority. Sometimes the clients may have a need. Sometimes the clients may have a need, but they may have no budget. Or the competitor can even supply better. Okay. So these are some of the challenges. So because of which there is a huge discrepancy between what you see over here and what happens down. So all these things have only when they complement each other. Like for example, there has to be a budget, there has to be a need, there has to be a priority. You might be should be better than a competition. All these things when it happens, then what happens over here comes over here. So at the top you suspect the people. That means you go on making calls, you meet the target segment. Here customers buy your products. I just want to ask you a question, because whenever we are getting to a concept of a sales funnel, think of one of your clients, not the order closed, either dealing with or wish to deal with. Let's take that as a case. Take any name of your client. For particular those who are not familiar with this concept of a funnel, can you just write a name of a client? Okay. Shiva Kumar, Mockteg is one of the customer you would like to see. Where does it belong to? Fair enough. Now the funnel has actually 4 aspects. The suspects, where you define the target segment. The prospect, where apart from the target segment, he has already asked for a quotation from you. Can anybody tell me what is meant by this RFP, or sometimes it is also called as RFQ? Any guesses what does it mean? Yes, request for quotation or request for proposal. The third stage is the advanced stage, where you are given a quotation, technical comparison is happening, you might have given a demonstration, you might be comparing with the competition. So this is the advanced stage, and also you are talking with a number of stakeholders. It can be the end user, it can be the gatekeeper, it can be the technical buyer, it can be the finish, and last is the negotiation stage, where order closing. So Shiva Kumar, as of now, this company, let us say Moltech, which stage is it according to you? Think of it and let me know. Is an RFP. Okay, fine. So it's a prospect stage. Now, let us try to understand what is the difference between a suspect and a prospect. Would anybody like to have an audio control, so that I'll also see whether the audio works or not? Anybody wants to have an audio control? I'll give that control for a few minutes. Yeah. Who would like to share what is the difference between a suspect and a prospect? Okay, Suresh, I'll give you.
That he might need particular product, whereas prospect, you are 100% sure that he needs that particular product.
Is that the difference between a suspect and a prospect?
That's what I think.
Anybody else? Okay, no problem, no issues on that. See, I want to make it as interactive as possible. Anybody else wants to have to talk? Suspect is just a vague inquiry, okay, Shiva Kumar says. Prospect is sure for going. If prospect is sure for going, then why don't you get that order? Suspect, he may or may not have a need. Yes. Okay, fair enough, no problems. See, the difference between a suspect and a prospect is, a suspect is the person where as a vendor you feel has a need. Okay, and the prospect says he has a need. You get the distinction? Suresh, would you agree to that? Prospect, he is qualified for being a customer. Yes, he is qualified being a customer. Yes, very nice. That can be agreed upon. What is the difference between a prospect and an advanced stage? Anybody would like to say something so that your voice will be also, just say, raise your finger, or you can, so I'll just say that, yeah? Anybody? Suresh? Yeah, Suresh.
Yeah, you understood that there is a requirement and your product probably matches with his requirements. And
correct, yes.
Advanced stage is basically you have given a proposal which probably meets most of his needs, and now
correct.
you expect that it should go for the up to the negotiation stage.
Yeah, but what happens in an advanced stage?
I mean, the probability or possibility of getting the order is high when it is in advanced stage.
Agreed, you are absolutely right in that connection. Suresh, you are right, very nice. Okay, there is one more angle to it. The probability of getting order is advanced stage is very high compared to the prospect. But the essential difference is, in a prospect, you might be getting an inquiry from the purchase department,
Correct.
or you might have got an inquiry from the end user, one who has initiated it. In case of advanced stage, you have discussed this for all the stakeholders in that organization, which I have discussed in great detail in my book. Okay, that is one. Prospect also happens that you might have given a technical comparison, you might have given a demonstration, you might have given a technical comparison vis-a-vis the competition. So that is the difference. But Suresh, your understanding was pretty clear. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for sharing. Shall I go ahead? Advanced stage and order closing, what happens here? I'll just... Yes, maybe in input. Advanced stage and order closing means now, in case of an order closing, you become a preferred vendor. Whereas in advanced stage, you and your competition are at the same footing. Clear? Now, you will have to decide where does that organization belong to. I'll just go quickly through the next. So, let's go to the next topic, what is called as beyond the numbers. Welcome, Dinesh, for the program. Yes, can anyone tell you I am able to reach my targets because, what are the reasons? You may be sincere, you may be hardworking, you are mapping the territory correct and all that stuff. This question which I would like to ask, because many of you, when you are attending the program, I know that in spite of your best efforts, quite often we may not reach the target. What might be the reason? Anybody would like to share this time? Please raise your hand. Yes, availability of stocks might be. Yeah, you have stocks, but then why we are not able to share? At that moment, yes. Availability of stocks, that, yeah. Agreed. Sandeep, yes, you got the stocks, but you do not have stocks at that moment. So, in spite of your best efforts, you are not able to get the order or execute the order. Agreed. That is because of your internal mistakes. You might be flush with orders. That's fine. What I am saying, not getting the order. Mapping is not proper, Anu, you are right. Mapping may not be proper. You may not be a preferred vendor, yes. Your product might be best, but the customer might be happy with the competition. This might be one of the reasons. Agreed. Market, not demand, yes. There might be demand related problems. So let's look at what are the things. I'll just give an example now. There are 3 salesmen. Let us call them. Yes, you are right. I may not have the qualified leads and all that stuff. Yes. Now, there are 3 salesmen, A, B and C. These are their order booking achievements. Can anybody figure out what do this mean? These 6 alphabets. Yes, Suresh, you are right. Situation as a customer range changes. So, these are the order booking each month in terms of lakhs, and this is their correct, you are right. And these are the total achievements. Now my question to you is, that means each person had a target of around 60 lakhs for 6 months. A has achieved 33, B has achieved 54, C has achieved 57. Now my question is, who is the best salesman? A, B or C? I hope you are able to see these figures. Now you will have to say, who is the best salesman? A, that is 1, B or C? Now the opinions are divided. There is a very interesting pattern which I am saying that, wow, very nice. Thanks for Wonderful. Nobody is voting for A. Majority of or few are going for B and C, and the gap between B and C is very high. You want to see the results. Ankit Chaurasia says B is best, but B has achieved little lesser than C. Majority of you are saying B is a better salesman even though his achievements were little lesser. Look at this. 52% of you are saying B is best, whereas very little lesser, around 23% of you are saying this so. Very nice, you are pretty right. So I'll just end the poll. Let us look at why did you rate B better in spite of having little lesser achievement than C. So the concept is this: A's average was 5.5, B was 9, actually C was 9.5. He is consistent, you're right. See, what is happening is, you see this. This is what is happening with B, whereas with C, it is happening like this. What might be the reason for C to get these results? Any guesses? Anybody wants to share? Divide targets in months, yes. His consistent performance, but why is he getting such spikes at this particular month? Anybody? More efforts only at the... Do you really feel that C is putting efforts? Due to special project, yes, major orders. Anybody, I am expecting, you are right. Old orders delayed got materialized order, yes. Good value in December and March, yes. Anu, you are absolutely right. Quite often what happens is, March happens to be the financial year ending as well as December for a lot of multinationals. So that is the time, it's more than the salesman's efforts or the salesperson's efforts. The orders happens not because of the salesman, but in spite of him. Would you agree with it? And that is the reason why there is a spike at this particular point. Okay, thanks Anu. And that is the reason why I say a lot of times the figures actually do not reveal the truth. Welcome Chandradev. So let's go to the next. So which better? So even though it is 55, 90 and 95, this guy is putting efforts which you can see. So who has performed well? Tell me, who has performed well? Is it only B? Or it is C? B and C both have performed well. C has also performed well. Yes, Ankit, you are right. C has also performed well. Who has performed well and is consistent? Now, performing well and consistent are two different things. Yes, Chandradev, you are right. And that's why we can say that B has a talent. Who is talented or plain lucky? See, a lot of times talent and luck also goes together. Yes, Arjun, you are right. So I hope you are able to get the distinction between talent and luck and talent. C is lucky. Very nice, sir. Thank you. Thanks for that. What will A say if he doesn't get the targets? A lot of times we hear this during sales meetings, sales conference. A might say the market is not there, no luck and all that stuff. He will never say planning is not proper. Yes, competition is very high. Wonderful. What will B and C say? And the same environment. They may say because of the pipeline. So now let us look at it. To reach the targets, there are factors within our control and the factors which are beyond our control. What are the factors within our control? The funnel, the territory, the type of territory mapping that we do, the segmentation, are we meeting the right customers? Which are beyond your control is the market conditions. So for example, last 2 years the market was dip. Competition may be very aggressive. Competition from Taiwan, Korea, China might be happening. Competition might have dropped your prices. Your price might have gone up because of your overheads and all that stuff. So these are the conditions. Lot of times it happens because the market management has its own constraints. So these are beyond the control of a salesperson. But these are within the sales, the control of the sales guy. What we are going to look at is how we can work on those areas which is within your control. Now, once again, we'll go back to those numbers 33, 90 and 95%. And we have to understand two concepts apart from average. Average most of you are aware of. What is a concept called median and a mode? So rather than just discussing this, I would like to ask you, these are two numbers, two progressions this way. Now, what is the average of both these? Can anybody quickly calculate what is the average and what is the mode? Or somebody can tell me what is meant by mode. Anybody wants to have an audio control? Anybody? .8 is the average, yes. Shiva Kumar says median is 4.8. Median is the middle number, yes. Mode is the most common figure, Arjun, you are absolutely right. Mode is the most common figure and median is the number around which, if you take below which 50% are there and above which 50% are there. Thanks. So if you look at it, both these progressions have the same average 4.8. But whereas for one series the mode is 8 and for 2 the mode is 5, whereas the median is 4 and median is 5. Let's go back once again. What is meant by mode is 8. If you look at 8, 8, 8. 8 is the number which has appeared maximum number of times. So that is called as mode. Okay. Whereas for 2 the mode is 5. If you look at it, 5, 5, 5. So 5 has appeared a number of times. So the number which appears the maximum times is called as the mode. Now if you arrange these numbers in an increasing manner, both this progression in an increasing manner, you will see the graph like this. So the mode for 1 is 8, mode for this guy is 5, but the median for this guy is 4. That means 50% of figures are below 4, 50% are above 4, but whereas the median for this guy is 5. So which person looks more consistent, 1 or 2? Anybody? Is salesman 1 is more consistent or salesman 2 is more consistent? You should be able to see this visually. Anybody? Is it 1 or 2 who is more consistent? If you can look it from this figure, there is not much diversion, not difference between these two, whereas there is a great diversion between these two. So from this you can figure out that group 2 is more consistent, and this consistency is actually not defined by the average, it is decided by these two factors, mode and the median. Shall I go ahead? Just say yes. Have you understood this concept? Yes, thank you. Okay, so these are the definitions. What is mode, median and all that stuff. So now you know that a lot of times why numbers do not tell the truth is because we only look at the average, but we hardly look at these two figures. And now you know why this guy is consistent, because he has a pipeline which is adequate. Any questions? Any questions before I go ahead? If there are no questions, I'll take it ahead. I'll go ahead. Okay, Chandradev, thank you. So if you are able to pick up orders consistently without undue dependence on peaks of December and March, then you have a clear strategy. But what can you do to pick up orders consistently is the question. So now let us look at, now you have understood mode and medium, now we have to look at how do we improve the consistency. So these are again the 4 stages. Stage 1, suspect, prospects, advanced stage, and the order closing. Absolutely right. Generate more and more inquiries. So let us look at 3 salesmen once again, A, B, C, who have respective cases like this. Okay, so A has got 9 cases, 2 prospect, 1 advanced, 3 order closing. B has 3 suspects, 1 prospect, 2 advanced stage, 1 order closing. C has 14 cases of suspects, 10 here, 6, 3. Now my question to you is who will be successful in the short term and who will be the long term? Anybody? Short term will be successful. C is in short term. Okay. A is short term. Long term C. Yes. C is in short term. C is also in long term. Now we'll come to this, who is consistent, short term, long term and all that. Before that we'll go into one more aspect of it. This I have discussed in great detail in my book. Let us say there is a person who has a target of say 20 lakhs per month. Now he can achieve this target 20 lakhs in different angles. A is he can just get one order for 20 lakhs. Okay. Now let us say that if he is planning, he is projecting one order for 20 lakhs, what will be the plus point of it? I would like somebody else to take an audio control and share that. What is the plus point of executing just one order of 20 lakhs per month? Anybody? Suresh, you want to talk? I am giving you audio control. Yeah.
See, basically, when he grabs one order of 20 lakhs, it's most likely, you can say minimum efforts he is getting a big order.
That's right. So he's putting minimum efforts and he gets the order. Wonderful. Anu also concur with you, is confident of the said order. Yes. But what is the advantage from the company side? When a client, when the sales, okay, fine. Yeah, what is the advantage for the organization's perspective? If there is one order to of 20 lakhs. More opportunity to open, it's less expensive. Yes. See, the overheads of processing one big order is much less than processing 10 orders of small value. In terms of logistic, in terms of all other things. Would you agree to that? For the rest of the, yes. Less order processing cost. You are right, absolutely. Okay. This is fine, but then what is the main drawback of one order of 20 lakhs? Anybody else would like to share apart from Suresh now? Please raise your hand. I'll give you another somebody. Risky, correct. What is the business threat? There is no business threat per se. Penetration, yes. Chandradev. What is one of the main thing is, you may project an order of 20 lakhs, but suppose if that order doesn't come, due to some reason. Yes, you're right, Sandeep. If you lose that particular order, lose that order gets postponed for the next quarter, you don't have anything to bank on. And so, either you are a hero if you get that order, or you're zero if you don't get that zero. Absolutely right, Anil. Let's look at this option. Instead of one order of 20 lakhs, the salesman decides that I would like to take 10 orders of 2 lakhs. Now, what is the plus point of it? What is the plus point of taking a lot of small orders at 10 lakhs? More pipeline, that's fine. But what is the advantage? You will meet at least 50%. Yes, what else? You are actually covering the risk, because if one order does not happen, you got at least 9 orders to work on. Yes, so you are distributing the risk. What is the negative side of this? What is the negative side of 10 orders of 2 lakhs? Actually, dependence on more running around. You are absolutely right. Okay, more running around. So what happens is, assume that is 10 orders per month is almost one order every 2.5 days, assuming that 25 working days. So it will be huge cost in terms of running around, and the processing cost will be also very high. So if you look at it, here the risk is high in case of one order of 20 lakhs, whereas here the processing cost, the efforts and all that becomes very high. So between these two extremes, as Buddha once said, that an extreme of an error is another error. Truth lies somewhere in between. So it is safe to say that have orders of average size, because you may not have that many customers also. So if you work on this, average order of 5 lakhs and 4 orders. Clear? Now look at it. This will be the stuff. Whereas with this, there will be good cash flow and medium risk. So what you should be doing is, you should not be putting all your eggs in one basket with this option. At the same time, do not look out for very small orders. If it is small orders, companies would prefer to do it through the distributors and all. Okay, so try to optimize your efforts and the order value. Now look at it. A has a funnel. He has got 9 cases over here, 2 here, 1 here, 3 here. So this month he gets business. Short term he is happy. What happens the long term, the next month? He has nothing to plan for. Agreed? What happens with B? B has 3 cases in January, 1 prospect, 2 advance, 1 order closing, 2, 1, 1, 1. That's fine. Bipin, that is fine. Whatever it is, the number is, whether it's 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 1 crore, see to it that it should be, average order size should be good. Okay. What happens with B? B will not achieve anything in the short term because he has nothing in the pipeline over here, nor he has got a good suspect base over the long time. Agreed? What happens to C? C has enough cases in all the stages of the funnel. C has enough cases in all the stages of the funnel. That means not only in short term but also in the long term he will be getting a consistent business. Any questions? Now who should be doing this? In fact, Chandradev, you may recollect the meeting that we had at your office. This is called as a demand generation, lead generation, exploring new opportunities, wherein you see to it that your funnel has inquiries all the time. Yes, Shivakumar, you are right. So shall I go ahead? Any questions now? Just let me know whether you have followed this. Okay, Chandradev, you are able to connect with it. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, fine. Thank you, Arjun. This is in summary. Short-term focus, no long-term. No focus, consistent. Now we'll see the third aspect. How do you prioritize different types of calls? Salesman Ramesh has the following cases: suspect, prospect, advanced stage, order closing. Okay, SPM. Yeah, SP is not special purpose machines, but S stands for suspects, P stands for prospects, AS stands for advanced stage, and order closing stands for, OC stands for order closing. If you look at it over here, 1 minute for Chidambaram. Look at it. This is the suspects, this is the prospects, this is the advanced stage when you are discussing with all the stakeholders, and this is the order closing. S, P, AS, OC. S, P, AS, OC. Yes, Shivakumar, you are absolutely right. Yo-yo effect, I will be coming to that. Okay, my question to you is this: how we should prioritize? Tomorrow or today he has to go for a call. There are some suspect, there are prospect, there is advanced stage, order closing. For this week, how we should prioritize? Which stage he should prioritize? Question to you is: you can work the funnel from bottom, that go order closing first, then go for advanced stage, then work on proposals, and then last is suspects. How many of you select option A? Yes. Wonderful. Yeah, because order closing always takes the priority. I hope none of you are for the B. Fair enough, no problems. Good. So majority of you are saying option A. So when you work on option A, that you first close these orders, then you do this, then you do this, do you know what happens next month? Any guesses? It's right, you have to first close the order because ultimately targets are important, numbers are important, this thing is important. But what happens to your funnel the next month? Any guesses? Anybody wants to share? It's good. In fact, most of the salespersons fall into this category. He becomes drained. Yes, that is fine. What happens nearly zero? Anu, do you want to speak? Do you want to person? Yes, you are right. Funnel will become empty the next month. Absolutely right. Your funnel becomes empty. The funnel will either become empty or you may have just one case. Assume that you are just one case. You have to achieve a target of 1 crore and you got one case. And now your customer calls you for negotiations. Tell me who will be at an advantage, you or the customer? Customer, yes, because now your negotiating leverage becomes weak. Absolutely right, Suresh. Now what happens is you go on chasing the same customers. Now you are absolutely desperate for business. Agreed? So if you look at it, there is nothing wrong with the working for the funnel from the bottom like this. But there is a risk that next month or next quarter, you may not have anything to work on this. So if A does not work, the bottom to top approach, how about B? What will happen if you work on first the inquiry, suspect, then the prospect, these things? So order closing takes the last priority. What will happen with B if you take that option? Anybody? What will happen if you work on the funnel from top to bottom? Like you go on working, you generate new prospect, you give demonstrations and all that stuff. Risk of orders getting postponed, yes. Vimal? Yes, you are right. Delay in order closing may result in losing the orders, because you may go on working on this, but you will tell your boss, your manager, the MD, sir, I got lot of inquiries, lot of prospect. He says, where is the business? That means if you don't close orders on priority, you may go on educating the customer a lot, but your competitor will go and close the order. So you may say, I'll develop the market, competitor closes. I develop the market, competitor closes. Is it a good thing for you? Anybody? Yes. So actually it is not good. Agreed? So option A is something like loose motions and B is like constipation. The comparison is not apt, but the whole thing is the sales funnel need not be either empty or should be totally full. So what needs to be done, we'll look at. We'll go to the next just to show you what happens with sales funnel. We'll come back to this topic once again. The first thing is, remember, your funnel should neither be empty nor choked. That means if you work on the funnel from the bottom up, it will become empty the next month or the quarter. It will become choked if you ignore the order closing. Second important point in using the funnel is each stage should have adequate cases. Remember, most important thing is order closing takes the top priority. Any trainer says anything, top, bottom doesn't matter, but order closing takes the top priority. After order closing, then what comes? Actually, it is not the advanced stage. After order closing, you should generate at least 5 new prospects in the funnel. And that is the difference. The option is not either A or B, it's a combination of A and B. Okay, we'll come back to this little later. We'll take one more concept. Read this. You are to get an order by next week. Client says, come after 3 months. Now you got 2 options. You report to manager and make a call 3 months later, or call after 15 days. Which option would you take? B. Why? Why don't you believe the customer? You say the customer is the king and all that stuff, no? Why don't you believe the customer then? And call him after 3 months. What will happen? That competitor may come and close that order. Yes, you are right, I know. So what happens is, the funnel, there is one very important concept is, see, there are, each product depending on its size and the complexities will have different selling cycles. The selling time is, let us say X. This X can be 8 weeks, 8 weeks means the time taken from a inquiry to order closing. It can be 8 weeks, it can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, depending on the order size. But the formula is very simple. What does this formula say is, whatever is the sales cycle time, it becomes roughly half as you move from to the previous stage to the next stage. So for example, if an average order size is around 8 weeks, it becomes 4 weeks over here, and for order closing it takes around 2 weeks. Okay, it's a rough formula. Now let us say that you are expecting an order within a week or 2 weeks, and now the customer tells you that come after 3 months. Now you have to put this case not only here, it has to be treated as a fresh case. You treat any case as a fresh case if the cycle time goes beyond what has been normal, and that's why you have to go there within 15 days to treat it as a fresh case. Are you able to follow me? Just because the customer says come after 3 months, that does not mean that it is at the end of the funnel. Agreed or not? Please let me know whether you follow this. Yes, Sudarshan, yes. Okay, listen to the customer, what they don't want to talk to you, also what they don't want to tell you. When the delay is more than expected, treat the case as a fresh one. Yes, you have to be in the touch with the customer. Yes, Arjun. Is this the one, Arjun, you wanted? Okay. Clear? Shall I go ahead? Yeah. Welcome. See, many of these things I have discussed in great detail in the book Contextual Selling. You can view it on the website, you can go to the Amazon also. There is one chapter called as the big picture of contextual selling. You can see this all there. So let's come back to the topics which we had discussed in our mailer. These are the topics that we are to discuss. Concept of funnel, the 4 stages, what happens, do sales figures tell the truth, the difference between average, median and mode, how do you improve your forecasting accuracy by having cases in all the stages, how to prioritize the calls, don't work either from bottom to top or top to bottom, and how do you manage the paradox. That means you have to get results in short term but also for the long term, so that you do not get panicky or stressed out that how you are going to get business. Any questions?